What is up, everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and in this video I will be breaking down the latest events in the Boku no Hero story, including the biggest twist in the history of the series and how this shocking and heartbreaking revelation is going to impact the rest of the story. After 5 years of waiting for the identity of the UA traitor to be revealed, Horikoshi first trolled us completely with a blatant misdirection, and then he finally revealed the traitor's true identity. This was crazy, so let's get into it. If you guys enjoy our Boku no Hero content and you want to see more in the future, you know what to do. Just leave a quick like and comment. It only takes a second, but it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And of course, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you watch our videos but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a quick favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. By the way, we've recently partnered with Itaikuji, an online retailer in Japan that makes anime merch that is normally exclusive to Japan, available to fans all over the world. They have a wide selection of awesome anime merch straight from Japan, including an entire section on MHA, which has some of the best MHA figurines I've ever seen, along with a bunch of other awesome stuff. Check them out, the link in the description, and because we're partnered with them, you can now use the coupon code AnimeUproar500 for an instant discount. Every time you use the coupon code, you are not only getting awesome merch at a discounted rate, you are also directly supporting this channel, so check them out, link in the description. Needless to say, this video will contain massive Boku no Hero manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution, you have been warned. The new chapter starts off with a quick training sesh between Bakugo and Deku. Bakugo is demonstrating his brand new technique, the one that he had mentioned in the previous chapter and which he calls Cluster. Thanks to the training he received at Endeavor's agency, Bakugo is now able to create sweat spheres and fire off multiple shots at the same time, creating a powerful cluster of explosions. This move requires him to produce more sweat, so he wears his full winter suit even in warm weather so that he can get more sweat at his disposal. Man, sometimes I forget just how gross Bakugo's quirk is because it is also very cool at the same time. The man is a sweaty mess, and let's face it, he probably doesn't have great body odor. But he also produces incredibly badass explosions and other epic attacks, so you can't hate on that quirk either. You also have to respect Bakugo for working as hard as he does to get strong enough to keep up with Deku. I mean, Deku and Shigaraki are now in a completely different league than basically anyone else in the story, and yet Bakugo simply refuses to be just a supporting character. It will be fun to see how he can actually contribute to the big fights that are definitely coming very soon. Todoroki is also training hard and getting stronger, although his main focus is Dabi rather than Shigaraki and All For One. He wants to take down his older brother, so he has been working hard to control both sides of his quirk in a way that will make him resistant to Dabi's flames. He is currently on the brink of merging the two halves together into one cohesive whole, and it will be extremely cool to see what Todoroki will be capable of when he fully masters both sides of his quirk. I don't think that he will ever be on the level of Deku and Shigaraki, but I do think that he and Bakugo will be strong enough to make a real difference in the final battle. Then we see Mineta and Kaminari having a discussion about what is the best way to proceed from here. Kaminari is wondering if maybe the heroes should strike now and strike hard because both All For One and Shigaraki are currently weakened. And of course, the other massively powerful villain, Gigantomachia, is still being sedated and he is imprisoned inside a custom holding facility. Because of that, it seems like the odds may never be more in the hero's favor than they are right now. But then Sweaty Boy jumps in and tells Kaminari that he is wrong on 3 points. First, finding All For One and Shigaraki is a lot easier said than done. All For One is a criminal mastermind, he's been around for like a century, and he knows how to stay hidden. He has been extremely careful up to this point, and he's not going to slip up now. Then Momo adds the second point. During their previous battle against Shigaraki, he was still incomplete, and even during his battle with Stars and Stripes, he was still not quite at full power. If by the time they find him, Shigaraki happens to be at full strength, that would completely change the calculation. Furthermore, there are a lot less heroes now than there were during the Battle of Jakku. As we know, some were killed during the war, a bunch more were injured, and a very large number retired after the war, so while the villains may be weaker, so are the heroes. The third and final point is that the villains will ultimately decide when the final battle begins. They will have the element of surprise. I mean, everyone knows where the heroes are, and the heroes have to operate close to where people live because their job is to protect the people. Meanwhile, the villains can hide wherever they want, they can bide their time, and they can strike at a time of their choosing. This places the heroes at a strategic disadvantage by the very nature of their job of being heroes. Deku is fully aware of all of these factors, and he vows to head out soon so that he can do some recon on the villains. But then Ida jumps in and corrects him, saying that Deku will not be heading out on his own because he is no longer operating on his own. They will do it together as a team, and at the end of the day, they will have to work as a team because All For One is still out there and who knows what else he has in store for them. Oh, and speaking of what All For One has in store for them, the chapter then switches settings to the woods outside the UA school but within the UA grounds. And this is where the big Traitor reveal is about to happen. Toru is in the woods and standing behind a tree. For a while now, she has been extremely worried about a fellow Class 1A student who just hasn't been the same after the Battle of Jakku. And while this wasn't strange in and of itself, because everyone was shaken up by what happened during the war arc, unlike the other students, this particular student didn't even cheer up or smile once after Deku's return to UA. Toru then overhears a conversation between three people that is happening deep inside the woods and within a surveillance blind spot. Essentially, this is one of the few places on the heavily guarded UA campus that is not being directly monitored by cameras or security guards. So that makes this the perfect place for a very private conversation. As a result, the three people who are engaging in this conversation clearly believe that they can talk freely without anyone overhearing them. And the words that are exchanged between them instantly change everything we thought we knew about the UA Traitor. The three people inside the woods are Yuga, Aoyama, and his parents are telling Aoyama that he has to keep following orders from All For One, just as he's been doing all this time. And there it is, Aoyama is the UA Traitor. Aoyama is the one who has been passing sensitive information about the UA to the villains, including the location of the USJ and of the secret student training camp. But even though he is now confirmed to be the UA Traitor, Aoyama is not really a villain. It turns out that he is not a willing ally of All For One. He was forced to follow All For One's orders because All For One threatened to kill his parents if he did not. And that is exactly what Aoyama's parents are reminding him of at this very moment. All For One has just given them another order, and Aoyama's parents are telling him that he has to carry it out if he wants them all to be safe from All For One's wrath. They are also telling him that as long as he's careful, no one will suspect that something is off and he will get away with it just as he has all this time. Toru can't believe what she is hearing. Aoyama has been working for All For One since before he joined the UA, and he has been spying on his classmates all this time. He has been passing sensitive information to the villains, information that put his friends and classmates in direct and serious danger. But even though this is a terrible and shocking revelation, it's important to emphasize that in this moment, Aoyama is crying profusely. He clearly isn't happy about the fact that he is the UA Traitor. In fact, he hates it and he feels tremendous guilt because of it. But he has been blackmailed into it, and clearly his parents have been actively pressuring him to comply with All For One's orders. We then get a quick flashback that reveals more critical information about Aoyama's tragic origins and how he came to be the UA Traitor. Aoyama was actually born quirkless, and this made him an outcast. From what we know about his parents, it seems that they are quite wealthy and cultured, and that Aoyama grew up in a high-end, posh environment. It is possible that among the wealthy elite in the world of MHA, being born quirkless is looked down upon even more severely than in the normal world. That's because elites tend to pay even more attention to things like social expectations, etiquette, and fitting in. Aoyama was miserable because he had no quirk, and his parents didn't want him to be shunned by the rest of society. That said, it's possible that they also felt embarrassed about their son's quirkless status, and that they were afraid that they themselves would be shunned on account of their son. So, Aoyama's parents went to All For One and they asked the villain to give their son a quirk. All For One then gave him Naval Laser, which explains why Aoyama had so much trouble controlling it and why he needed a special belt just to keep the power in check. He was not born with this quirk, the quirk was not compatible with his body, and that is why he hasn't been able to fully control it, at least not yet. Aoyama's parents claim that if they had the opportunity to do it all again, they never would have asked for All For One's help. But now that they did, it's already too late. Once All For One helps someone, they are under his control forever, and so Aoyama has no choice but to keep leaking information to the villains. For his part, Aoyama continues to cry, clearly devastated by his predicament. He has been feeling so much guilt this entire time, and it took all of his willpower not to expose himself and just come clean about everything. He had been trying to put on a brave face and act like nothing was wrong, and after All For One was captured at Kamino and sent to Tartarus, Aoyama dared to hope that his obligations towards All For One would finally be over and that he could just be a normal student like everyone else. Aoyama continues sobbing as his parents apologize for everything and beg him to keep protecting them. Toru then decides that she has to tell the teachers about what she just heard, but before she can do anything, Deku shows up. Deku then walks right up to the Aoyamas and asks them if he and Toru heard correctly. Is Yuga Aoyama really the UA traitor? The parents try to act dumb and they say that Deku must have misheard something, but Yuga Aoyama is done. He's had enough of the lies and deceit, and with tears flowing down his face, he comes clean about everything. He admits that he helped the villains during the USJ incident and at the training camp. As a shocked Deku looks on, Aoyama calls himself a dirty villain, and that is how this chapter ends. Wow, this was both shocking and heartbreaking. I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there who believed in the Aoyama traitor theory for a very long time, such as the YouTuber Vocal Pineapple, for example, but I really don't think that the people who believed in this theory were in the majority. My impression is that a lot more people believed in the Toru traitor theory, so after Horikoshi first trolled us with Toru, this was definitely a shocking reveal. And with how much Aoyama clearly regrets that he was forced to become the traitor, it really is a tragic story that we are witnessing. Aoyama is not some evil villain who is living a double life and who has been skillfully pretending to be a class 1A student. He would love nothing more than to be a normal student, but his dark past has kept him in chains this entire time. Aoyama really seems to be genuine when he says that he was feeling guilt and regret about all of this. And there were moments in the past where it almost seemed like he was trying to get caught. I won't talk about all the different clues that we had about Aoyama being the traitor because I talked about that in my previous MHA video on the chapter 336 leaks. I will link that in the description. And of course, other YouTubers like Vocal Pineapple have also made entire videos on that topic. All in all, I can sympathize with Aoyama to an extent. He was in a very difficult situation. That said, what he did was extremely dangerous. Even if he was just trying to protect his parents, by leaking that info, he placed his friends and classmates, as well as other heroes and the UA teachers, in serious, life-threatening danger. People could have died because of the intelligence that he leaked, and that includes his classmates. So, now that Aoyama has come clean, how will everyone react to the truth? Will they all hate him? Will they support him? Will he be redeemed? Definitely let me know in the comments how you think Class 1A and the teachers will react to the traitor reveal. Personally, I think that it will probably be a mixed bag. People like Deku, Ochako, and Tsuyu will probably be pretty understanding about Aoyama's difficult position. But I think that other people like Bakugo, Mineta, and Ida will be very angry that someone would betray their trust in this way. A lot of what happens next will depend entirely on Aoyama. If he chooses to switch sides and helps the heroes against the villains by using his unique position as the traitor, he may in fact be redeemed in the end. If All For One believes that Aoyama is still working for him, this would allow the heroes to give fake intel to the villains and maybe even lure them into a trap. But then again, All For One is a very, very smart guy, so I don't think defeating him will be that easy. And I don't know about you guys, but even though Aoyama seems to be genuine in his regret, I think that his parents are still kind of sus. I mean, I get that they are afraid of All For One, but the way that they pressured their own son to continue being the spy definitely made my spidey senses tingle. After all, these people knew how to get in touch with All For One in order to ask him for a quirk in the first place. Now, I don't think that All For One is just hanging out on social media and you can DM him when you need a quirk. So this tells me that Aoyama's parents may have had some shady underworld connections even before they made the deal with All For One. I'm thinking that even if Aoyama repents completely, his parents may still secretly betray the heroes, so we have to watch them carefully. Now, I want to hear your thoughts down in the comments. What did you think about this crazy Traitor reveal, and how is this going to affect the story moving forward? Will the Class 1A students ever forgive Aoyama? And is there something sus about his parents in all of this? Don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, just leave a quick like. It only takes a second, but it helps a lot. And if you're new to AnimeUproar, or maybe you watch our videos, but you just haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a quick favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You really have to go through the trouble of subscribing, hitting the bell, and then selecting that option that says all. If you don't do that, you're still gonna miss a ton of our videos, even if you are subscribed. It's just how YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Quick reminder to check out Itaikuji, link in the description. Every product that you order with our coupon code AnimeUproar500 directly supports this channel. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.